Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. In this week's episode, I'm going to explain why you should consider a career in recruitment. Let's go! Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. In this week's episode, I'm going to explain why I feel you should consider a career in recruitment if you're not already in it. And part of the reason for this is we're constantly getting messages off the back of the YouTube videos that we're putting out, asking, what are the pros and cons of working in recruitment, whether we feel or why I feel you should work in recruitment. So I thought I'd put it out there, try and keep it positive. So this is going to be 5 pros this week on why you should get into recruitment. And again, part of the reason for this is if you listen to recruitment podcasts or you listen to senior people within the industry talking about recruitment, in the majority of cases, they will be talking about how they fell into the industry, how they fell into recruitment. And for me, that's quite similar as well. It was never a plan necessarily to go into recruitment, and I feel that recruitment deserves a little bit more respect than that, and people should at a younger age want to get into it and plan to get into it. So why should you get into recruitment? Like I say, it'll be nice and positive, and there are 5 pros. So what are those pros? Well, the first one is competitiveness. It's a really competitive industry, and if you're a competitive person by nature, as I am, then it'll really fall in line with your personality. And it doesn't really matter. There's constantly competition within the sector, whether that be with peers of yours within the business that you're working in and you're competing to be the top biller or to improve above the person in front of you within the company. There's always that competition there. The competition could be with people at your level, but externally within competitive agencies within your sector. So there may well be people that you always come up against when jobs are put out there with certain clients, and when you're filling the jobs and you want to be filling them quicker than your competition, or whether it's with yourself and you want to beat the budget that you've set or the forecast that you've set for that month, or you want to beat what you were billing this time last year. There's always that element of competition that you can have in place. So the first reason why I feel that recruitment is good is that it's competitive, and it will appeal to your competitive nature. The second reason is it's rewarding. And again, whether that's because you're chasing a client, you're trying to get an opportunity to work with a client and you finally get a job or a placement with them. It's really rewarding when you chase a big client in your industry for a number of months, and you're speaking to them and you're meeting with them on a regular basis, and you finally get to convert them. There's no better feeling than that. But also, finding somebody their perfect job is very rewarding in itself. And as a business, we've received, or as individuals really, gifts from candidates who we've placed just because they're delighted with the opportunity that we've presented to them. Or on the flip side of that, we've had gifts come through from clients as well for helping find them the perfect candidate for the role that they were looking for. So when you do place that person, it is really rewarding. And even now, 13 years in the industry, I still get a buzz securing a new client, placing a good candidate in a good position. It still gives me that rewarding feeling. So you do go home feeling rewarded when you have success. The third reason is that you build strong relationships. If you work within a niche for a number of years, you're constantly speaking to the same people, whether that be clients, whether that be candidates. You're constantly in communication with the same people, and it's really good to build relationships with people, and some people that will over time become friends. I've been to weddings of candidates that I placed 11, 12 years ago now, and we've kept in touch, and I've been invited to the weddings. I regularly speak to clients, and we'll go to sporting events and enjoy each other's company outside of the working sphere. And this morning I was on the phone to a client, and I think for the 20-minute call, the first 15 minutes of that, maybe even longer, we were just talking to each other about each other's family, because we know each other that well now, that the call doesn't need to be about business all the time. We can talk about each other's families and find out how each other's doing, and it's so much better than it just being cold and having no relationship. So very much the strong relationships that you can build are fantastic. The fourth reason why you should get into recruitment is progression. It's an industry like no other really, in that it's a meritocracy. I'm not saying that no other industry is a meritocracy, that's not correct, but you know, you don't need to work for 5 years to get a promotion. You know, you're promoted on merit, and in some cases you can be promoted through a business pretty quickly if you've got the right attitude, you put the billings on the board and you show that drive and that determination. And you know, in other careers that you may consider as a youngster, you know, you've got to go through training, you've got to get so many years under your belt before they'll promote you, and there's just none of that in recruitment. So very quickly, if you're successful, you can be leading a team, an office, a division, have your own company, and you don't need to be 50 for that to be the case. You can get through that process really quickly. I speak to people all the time in their 20s that are running offices, that are responsible for companies' parts of their P&L, and they're constantly reporting back to the directors on their monthly P&L, and to be in that kind of position in your 20s is fantastic. And if you've got the drive and that's what you want, then the world's your oyster, and it leads to opportunities, you know, all over the world as well. You know, I know people that I've worked with in the past that have gone working in America, that have gone working in Australia, and in some industries that's just not possible. So progression internally, but also externally in terms of your lifestyle, is second to none. And finally, the fifth reason that I think you should consider getting into recruitment is money. The basic salaries are on the up, which is fantastic for consultants, but it's commission based. If you do well, you can earn some really good commission on top of your basic salary, and that's really why you should get into recruitment. If you're getting into recruitment for your basic salary, it's probably going to be the wrong job for you, because it is tough, it is challenging, and you do need a thick skin. But if you're getting into it because you want to earn money and you want to be successful, then absolutely it can be the right career for you. It can be life-changing. You can earn significantly more money than you can in any other career, or a lot of other careers, if you're successful and you're driven and you've got the right attitude and you put the numbers on the board. Like I say, it can be life-changing, and the benefit that brings, and obviously the lifestyle that you can then have, is fantastic. But not only is the money good, but it's also tailored to your work rate, your work ethic, and your success. If you're a teacher, for argument's sake, you can work as hard as you want between 9 and 3:30. You can go home and spend all evening preparing the best lessons for the next day you can possibly deliver, but you're not going to earn any more money from it. Whereas in recruitment, if you put more effort in and you're better at the job, you get better, you develop, you learn, you can earn more money just by doing effectively the same work in between the working hours of 8 and 5, or whatever hours it is that you work, and obviously the flexibility that comes with that. So there's 5 key reasons why I think you should consider a career in recruitment. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. If there's anything that you think that I've missed, feel free to put them in the comments. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel. The YouTube algorithms love subscribers, and we're really trying to get these videos out to the masses at the minute. So please do subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified every time we drop a new video, and we'll see you next week.